Operation Doublet is an investigation set up in 2012 by Greater Manchester Police into child sexual exploitation in Rockdale and other areas of Greater Manchester, England. It has resulted in 19 men being jailed for child sexual offences, rape and trafficking. Police investigation in March 2013, it was reported that 42 possible victims of crime had been approached as part of the initial inquiry, and that up to 34 further names of possible victims had been passed to the police. However, Rockdale MP Simon Danchuk expressed concern over the slow progress of the inquiry, and questioned whether officers were winning the trust of victims. Assistant Chief Constable Steve Haywood said in May 2013 that about 550 officers were working on Operation Doublet. He said that the investigation was at an extremely sensitive stage, and that street grooming was the force's top priority, a bigger priority than gun crime. He said that the investigation was looking at cases in Rockdale dating back to 2003. Charges in May 2012. 9 men were arrested on suspicion of sexual activity with a child. The men were not thought to have known each other. In March 2015, a 10th man was arrested for offenses relating to 2 victims aged 13 and 14. In March 2015, the 10 men aged between 26 and 45 were charged with serious sex offenses against a total of 7 females who were aged between 13 and 23 at the time of the offenses. The offenses took place in Rockdale between 2005 and 2013, and included rape, conspiracy to rape, inciting a child to engage in sexual activity with a child, and sexual assault. Ian Wiggett, the Assistant Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, said that, thus far, 65 people had been arrested as part of Operation Doublet. He said, "This is an extremely complex and challenging investigation which will continue over the coming months, and further arrests are anticipated." 4 more men were jailed in September 2016 with a further 5 in February 2017. Sentences: 10 men were sentenced to jail. Afraz Ahmed, 33, guilty of 12 counts, 25 years in prison. Judriya Khalak Hussain, 38, guilty of 6 counts, 19 years in prison. Fled to and arrested in Pakistan via a joint operation of UK and Pakistan police. Rayan Ali, 27, guilty of 4 counts, 7 years in prison. Kutab Mia, 35, 4 counts, 9 years in prison. Mohammed Dawood, 38, 6 counts, 16 years in prison. Abid Khan, 39, 4 counts, 6.5 years in prison. Mohammed Zahid, 55, 1 count, 5 years in prison. David Law, 46, 2 counts, 11 years in prison. A man who cannot be named for legal reasons, 6 counts, 23 years in prison plus 8 years on extended license. Mahfouz Rahman, 29, 3 counts, 5.5 years in prison. The convictions related to 8 victims who were aged from 13 to 23 at the time of the offenses. 4 men were sentenced to jail. Mohammed Ishaq, 56, 1 count, 11 years in prison. Gulzaiman, 44, 2 counts, 10 years in prison. Urshad Wani, 39, 8 counts, 9 years in prison. Shoaib Shabir, 28, 2 counts, 7 years in prison. The convictions relate to offenses committed against 2 victims who were aged between 15 and 16 at the time of the abuse. 5 men were sentenced to jail. Joshim Mia, 32, 1 count, 7 years in prison. Itafaq Youssef, 26, 2 counts, 20 months in prison. Mohammed Sadir, 28, 1 count, 16 years in prison. Ashafaq Youssef, 31, 4 counts, 19 years in prison. Mohammed Mia, 41, 1 count, 16 years in prison. The convictions relate to 3 victims who were aged between 14 and 16 at the time of the abuse. See also list of sexual abuses perpetrated by groups. Rockdale sex trafficking gang. References